You look surprised.
I was not sure you'd come. It's been a month since I last saw Jason.
Same for me.
Only difference being, last time I saw him, he was going to see you.
It was a short meeting.
But intense.
Do you want one?
We were sitting on this beach. I remember exactly what Jason told me. The sun was setting. The ocean was strangely calm. And he raised his finger against the sky and said, "You see there? From one moment to another, without warning, we'll see a plane appear in the sky. It'll go fast, and it'll pass over our heads, and it'll disappear over the clouds. We'll observe it, and we'll realize that we don't have time to go and say goodbye. We'll remain here, sitting on this beach, waiting for our end. We'll listen to the ocean, waiting for death. And a nuclear bomb will destroy us all. Us, the ocean, civilization, from one moment to another." We both sat in silence for a while. And he spread his arms wide open and looked at me with a madness in his eyes. "We are living the end of the world!" That's what he said. "Today or tomorrow, everything can end. All of our plans for the future are about to be wiped away by a nuclear bomb. Why are we still here?" I actually told him we had to finish our exams. We only had one term to finish the year at university, but he didn't care. He just started laughing. "Who cares?" he said. "This is crazy. Everything can end in a minute. Why am I doing everything I'm expected to do?" He got up. He was excited, with this madness in his eyes.
So he left. Like this.
No. Not like this. He got up, madness in his eyes. "It can't end this way," he said. "I have too many things to do." I asked him what he had to do. He smiled. Smiled. "I have a life to live," he said. "A woman to love. man to kill. So many things to do in just one night, isn't it? So he got up, hugged me, and walked away like someone walking towards their own death. Away towards everything he had to do. A life to live. A woman to love.
A man to kill.
Suppose you know something about it?
I suppose you think I'm the woman to love?
Are you not?
I'm afraid I am. I'm afraid I still am.
Still.
How can you love a woman in one night? How can you live a life in just one night? You can't. It's impossible. Even if a nuclear bomb is threatening your existence. It's madness.
Yes, it's madness, but he knew it. He knew he was living a folly. We all did, but most of us closed our eyes and waited for it to end. He let himself be crushed. What do you know of that night?
We'd never been anything until that night. I had seen him around the university and I knew his name. I've always kind of liked him. But I didn't know what he thought about me until that night. That night he came to my halls. He convinced me with those blue eyes that the world was about to end. Well, I don't remember whether I believed him or not, but I remember getting one thing for sure. His world would end that night. I could see the light of madness in his eyes. We stayed together a few hours. At times talking, close to one another. Then, when it was late, he said he had one more thing to do before that night ended, the 28th of October.
What about the man?
Early on the 29th, he came back to me. Same light in his eyes. He seemed the same person I had seen just a few hours before.
Maybe he didn't have the guts for it.
He was the same, apart from one thing. One tiny, almost invisible stripe of blood on his neck. I didn't point it out, I didn't touch it. It made me shiver. We stayed together a few hours more. Then he went to buy a newspaper. And it was then that he realized the world would not end. At least, not for everyone.
He'd almost survived those 13 days of madness.
Almost. When he came back to me, the madness in his eyes was gone. There was only resignation. For him, the world should have ended.
But it didn't.
And what he did could not be forgotten.
He had to face the consequences.
He left without saying anything. He had done what he had to. And this is all I know.
So he killed the man!
Maybe. And maybe he loved a woman. I don't know what was happening inside him that night, but whatever it was strong. impossible to control.
He had lived his whole life in one night.
He did everything he had to.
Everything.
13 nights of this desperate madness.
What now?
We all have things to do, I believe. Only we have more than one night to do them. Maybe.